Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It is very nice to have you here today. We have another of the new Begg Knives, sort of budget-friendly tools on the table today. This is the JVO, or Jared Van Otterloo, designed Astio, and I really like it. It's pushing out onto the sort of tactical edge that I'm not a huge fan of, but it doesn't go over that edge. It's just a very interesting knife, and I really like it. And I don't have to. These, as I said in my last video, all of these came to me by way of Dirk. I don't, I'm not beholden to anybody. If I don't like something, I'm going to tell you, but I like it. So let's take a look at what you get in the Astio. You get G10 and D2 and steel. No titanium here, but that's what keeps it at the $120 mark. You, in fact, get 3 1/4 inches of cutting on just about a little under 3.5 inches of overall D2 blade. Grip area from behind that flipper tab, and it's a fairly noticeable flipper tab, 3 3/4 down to that line right there. It is comfortable to hold. Overall length from tip to tail, you're coming in at just 8 1/8, 8 1/16, 8 1/16. Yep. So right at 8 inches. Action's pretty good. Actually, it's very nice. You've got a steel, I think. Yeah, steel backspacer. I knew that. I was testing you. It is a subframe lock, sort of. You can see the interesting design there. So this is all steel. Got a stamped steel, folded steel clip with a ceramic ball. This does slip in and out of the pocket really well. Got a little bit of milling on the G10. Now that G10 on that side is interesting. Let's talk about that. So on the lock side, you've got a steel liner that is in here that supports the lock bar. On this side, the show side, it's just G10. You see in there? I'm doing. There we go. There's a little bit you can. Yeah, it's not really helping. Anyway, there's no liner on that side, which keeps the weight down a little bit. It is running on ceramic bearings, which is very nice. If you like body screws, there's a lot of them. These are T6. This is T8. Closed length on the Astio here, we're coming in at 4 3/4, and it does chew up a fair amount of pocket because of this sort of swell right here. You are looking at 1.5 inches in the pocket. It's not the world's deepest of carries. Do I have an envelope or something I can use? I should think about this in advance, shouldn't I? As you can see, it's designed to hang at a bit of an angle, right? But really you end up with a fair amount of knife sticking out of the pocket. Not my favorite design. I do like it. I think it's cool, but, the Astio is, well, like I said, or maybe I said that in a previous video, I'm not sure. It's pushing on that tactical look that I don't fall into that hard. A lot of people do dig it. I don't mind the recurve. Some people will. I do love that compound grind. I really do. That hollow makes this thing very slicey, which is nice. Let's do some size comparison, shall we? Here it is against the full-size Crooked River, just for giggles. Yeah, the Astio is considerably smaller. Here it is against a Hinder XM18. These knives are very similar, not in materials, but in the way that they sit in the pocket. They have a similar, believe it or not, you can see this sort of shaping. They fit in the hand in a similar way. They are similar in size. They are even similar in width, although the XM18 is a little bit thicker. And of course, this is $120 and this is $450. So, roll your dice. Here it is, a full-size Griptilian. If we get that lined up again, I'm just all over the place today. You will see that these knives are very similar in size. If the full-size grip is a good-sized knife for you, then this line of the sort of budget stuff that the Begg Knives has come out with will suit you very well also. And then finally, Let's do something different. Here it is against a normal sized Swiss Army knife. Yeah. There you go. You know, something a little different. 120 bucks. I'm not going to get into it again. I said it in my last video. I think it's too much money. I do want to point out that you do get a lovely swell here at the tip of this. It's just a nice knife. If it was 100, I'm not going to get into that. It's too much money, but if you like the design, you're going to get a good knife. So it's kind of hard to go wrong with that. Let's go ahead and weigh it out. .8 ounces. Yeah, it's a little heavy. But it's a fairly thick slice of that D2. Let's see. Yeah, you're getting, 3.7 millimeters. I do, again, I love this swell. I mean, it comes, let's get that lined up. Yeah. This blade shape, so it's got a little bit of a bevel, right? It's through here, which is really nice, and then it swells at the tip. For cutting purposes, the thing about a recurve tanto like this, it is a complex grind, by the way, is that this little corner, this little point right here, you can set that down on the material you're cutting and just draw a cut. It is really good for that. Because of the tip, it is reinforced. Again, if you need to give something a jab, this thing is going to absolutely live through it. It's got a lovely spot for your thumb to land right here. That swell, at least for my big old hands, that wide spot right there is where my finger lands when I do draw cuts, so that works out beautifully. Jimping back here is, I mean, it's there. I suppose it's for your thumb? I don't know. Let's talk about the action. Action is very good, right? A little bit of a wiggle and it will drop shut. Snaps open every time. I have had this for a while now. Let's see, we are about 45% on lockup, which is steel on steel. It's a relatively simple design. As I said, it is on ceramic bearings, which is nice. I think it's a ceramic detent ball in there too. So the funny thing about this knife is that it is, coming in at D2, it's competing with a lot of other sort of budget knives, basically. And it's more expensive than those. But there is a fair amount of work in this knife. From the subframe to the milling on the steel, to the milling on the G10, jimping back here, the cutout, the ceramic ball, the milling on the blade through the fuller. It is a complex build, and I think they did a really, really good job. Could it be less money? Yeah, it could. But if the knife appeals to you, you will not be disappointed, even at 120 bucks. And that, I think, is what matters more than anything else. A well-made, well-sorted, interesting tool that does what it's supposed to, survives your use, looks good while it's doing it, that should be, in the end, what matters to you. So, I'll put a link in the description to where you can find these if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Begg Knives Astio. I have been a Therapeutic Edge. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.